Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne and I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. So I love when I get feedback on the videos that I make, and I post them on YouTube, I post them on Facebook, I post them on Instagram, whatever. I post them. I get a lot of feedback and I really appreciate when I get questions as well. So this video is going to be one of a couple videos that I'm going to make based on some questions I've received on some of my videos. One of them being, what the heck is a crystal grid? We are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about what is a crystal grid, why do I use them, what are they, all the fun things. Here in front of me, I have crystals set up in a grid formation. Aha, see? Crystals that are set up on a grid formation on a crystal grid. I am using my crystals in certain shapes, in certain patterns. So I do like to say I utilize sacred geometry when I create my formations of crystals. Sacred geometry is the geometry that is within nature. So if you look at certain shells, you'll see different shapes within shells. I'm going to go through some other patterns and things here. The reason I create crystals in the shape or in the form of grids is because I would like to generate or manifest certain energies within my space, within my office, within what it is that I'm doing, much like when I'm carrying certain crystals. When I create crystal grids, I always tell you, this is how I create them. If you do not have this amount of crystals, use one of each or whatever to carry. So crystals have a gazillion long list of functionality that they do. When I talk about a crystal and I'm giving you a list of different things that crystal is good for, you are using that intention. So in this case, these are natural citrine. Natural citrine, number one, is kind of rare to find natural citrine because citrine likes to be, or no, it doesn't like to be. People like to manufacture other stones to look like it is natural citrine. Natural citrine gives you stability. It gives you the energy to complete projects. It can help you on an emotional level. It can help you to focus on what's right in front of you. Focus on the present. Focus on what it is you need to focus on. And most importantly, natural citrine is an abundance, a financial abundance booster. Natural citrine is one of the top money stones. So if I want to generate more prosperity on many fronts, namely financial, within my business, I will use natural citrine. People that had businesses and shops and different forms of businesses used to come to me all the time to help them create different gridding within their space. So one of my top ones was always natural citrine. You can chuck in green aventurine. You can always, green aventurine is also for financial abundance. You might want to also chuck in rose quartz. Rose quartz is for love. You want to love what you do and create money doing it. I just put some stones together here just so we can have a visual. These are fluorite. This is rutilated quartz, and then these are different pillars that I had that I just wanted to stick here. So when I'm creating a grid, it is because I want that energy to be within my space. I want that intention to be manifested. I want my angels, my guides, my loved ones, everybody to know this is my intent. This is what I'm putting out to the universe. This is what I want in abundance of, whatever I am gridding with crystals to create. Now, there are so many different ways that you can grid crystals. So let's move these. And I'm going to show you different things. Let's just move these over here. So this is a grid to use for crystal gridding. This is a canvas mat that I have painted. I've taught classes on that. Let me know if you'd be interested in me doing a video on these. I have a whole bunch of these. These are just the two that I have here. So I have created these so I can do my crystal gridding on them and then pick them up and move them and put them somewhere. I always say crystals are a choking hazard for small hands, small mouths, children, pets. Be careful. Crystals can be a choking hazard. So if I'm creating a beautiful crystal grid and I have a toddler in the home, I don't necessarily want to leave it on my coffee table. So the benefit of creating this maybe on my desk, picking it up and moving it, maybe putting it on top of a bookcase, putting it up, if it's in your kitchen, putting it above your kitchen cabinets, putting it somewhere safe, still within that area that you want to generate that energy. These are generators of energy. That's probably what I should have led with. Energy generators. That's what a crystal grid is. It is taking your intention and helping you to manifest it. So you can use all different types of things, little grids, to put your crystals on. And it doesn't matter how you do it. If you follow the designs that's on the thing you're using, great. That's wonderful. Do you have to have a thing to put your crystals on? No. Is it fun and pretty and fun to use? Oh yeah. I have a bunch of these. I collect them, obviously, but I do this as part of my work. There's so many of these. Now these, years and years and years and years and years ago, I had bought these from a lovely couple that made them. This is a Metatron cube. Metatron cube is one of my favorite ones, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But there's all different types. These are wooden, these are canvas, and then I have fabric. Now, other than making it yourself, I have found these to be a really, really cheap alternative. But the downfall is I can't pick this piece of fabric up and move it. Whereas if I created something on this, I can pick it up and I can move it. So if you're an artist and you're a painter and you want to paint on, this is just a canvas board. You can get these at Michael's. That's typically where I get mine. It's hard to find the squares. Sometimes I can find smaller squares at the Dollar Tree. Not always, but sometimes I can. I think this is 8. Let me just do a quick measurement on this. Yep, it is. It's an 8-inch square. So for me, obviously, I like a square. A square works for me when I am creating my crystal grids on my grid board. So you want to paint them? Great. You want to have the fabric ones? That is absolutely wonderful. So there are different patterns that are different types of grids. This one is called the Flower of Life. It's an ancient geometric pattern that's composed of overlapping circles. So you can see how all these circles overlap and they meet. And it forms this kind of floral-like design. And it's thought that this contains the fundamental building blocks of all life forms and represents the interconnectedness of all things. Many people love the flower of life. I mean, you'll see it in jewelry, you'll see it t-shirts, bags, obviously crystal grids. I do like the flower of life. Obviously, I have one. But when we're talking about using this, is all part of sacred geometry. Now, sacred geometry is also used in Buddhism. A lot of mandalas, when you see some beautiful mandalas through Buddhism, those are using different geometric shapes. And it is said that the different concentric circles and squares are equally placed from the center and go out. And there's a lot of geometric configurations, and those are suggestive of a lot of deities within Buddhism. Now, sacred geometry is also spoken of in the Bible too. So the Bible has a lot of references to sacred geometry, sacred shapes, sacred patterns. It is said that they are very symbolic and spiritual. For instance, the triangle, which I have a triangle one here. So the triangle is said to represent the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It is also sacred within paganism for witches, with Wiccans as well, for the crone, the mother, and the maiden. So the maiden, mother, and crone. I said it backwards. I'm more crone. That's why I said that one first. But there's also that trilogy within paganism as well. And as we know, paganism came before the Bible did. So it is said that the Bible got it from paganism, but instead of honoring the women like paganism does, the Bible honors men. To each his own. I'm not here to say yay or nay. I'm just saying. So that one uses the sacred geometry of 3. So let's keep moving on. I have some others here. So this, oh, and these fabric ones I got on Temu. So this one is actually, it's one of my favorites. This one is honoring Metatron. So this is the Metatron cube. So I have this one as well, is the Metatron cube. And the Metatron cube includes the 5 platonic solids, which are hidden inside, symbolizing the underlying geometric patterns that are found around our universe. It's named after Archangel Metatron, who watches over the flow of energy in creation. He also is the one that is in charge of the Akashic Records. I am a psychic who does readings in the Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records hold all the information of you on a soul level, meaning past lives. So I'm that type of psychic that can look at all the information from your past lives via connecting with Archangel Metatron. So because I'm that type of psychic, I gravitate towards this type of sacred geometry and this type of grid pattern. Thus, I have a couple here. So what does that mean? It means I can create maybe more high vibrational, high energy crystals in order to boost my psychicness. I'm psychic. I don't really need a boost to my psychicness, but I'm just saying I could use a lot of psychic crystals. Prehnite would be one. You know, clear quartz is always a generator, but I'm more of a Lemurian quartz kind of gal. You know, Popolite, big one for me. Herkimer diamonds. You know, those are very, very high vibrational stones that I would chuck into my grid. Heavy on the Lemurian, frankly. And if you know, you know. But those are just different types of higher vibrational crystals. All crystals have a vibration. It is that vibration that generates the energy that we want within our space. That is why we are combining our crystals. Crystals like to work together. Crystals grow together. They like to work together. So when they're working together, they are working together in harmony. Are there crystals that don't like to work together? No. Are there crystals that don't resonate with us in our energy? Absolutely. So when we talk about, are there stones that you like or stones that you don't like? Hey, you know what? I don't like every single stone I see. That's for darn sure. Maybe this is a Larimar. Maybe this is your stone. Maybe this isn't your stone. Just because it's a crystal doesn't mean I like it. I mean, these I like because I have them here. This is an emerald, a natural raw emerald. This is polished and shaped into the shape of a heart. But I'm just saying, these are just examples of crystals, and not everybody likes every crystal. When you go into a crystal shop or you're looking at my website online and you're saying, oh, geesh, I like that one. Oh, I don't like that one. That means it's the energy that is either vibrating with you or against you. That energy is either drawing you or repelling you, like people. Do I get along with every person I meet? Of course not. Do I tend to gravitate towards certain types of people? We all do. It's just like animals. Sometimes people say, I'm an animal person. Oh, I'm not an animal person. Animals know whether you have that vibration, that energy that will draw them to you. It's the same thing with crystals. You know, when you go into the grocery store and you go to pick an avocado out of the big old pile of avocados, what avocado are you going towards? You might be looking for the firm ones, for the squishy ones, but there's sometimes energy within those. Everything has energy. Everything has a vibration. Everything does. What energetically is vibrating with you that you're going to pick that? So whether you're picking an avocado or you're picking a Larimar, there could be 50 of these in the bowl that you're looking at. Why'd you pick the one you picked? Why'd you pick the avocado that you picked? It's the energy. The energy is vibrating and resonating with you, just like people. We pick certain people because they resonate with us, and we avoid certain people because they sure as heck don't resonate with us. It's the same thing. So, I digress. So when we're talking about crystals, do we have to have like a fancy thing to put our crystals on? No. Do I like fancy things to put my crystals on? Of course I do. You know, like I have the Metatron thing and like all different sizes. Do I like these things? Yes, I do. It's like when I'm painting or whatever, rubber stamping, I go towards turquoise. There's like turquoise in everything. I love turquoise. I resonate with turquoise. If you've watched my videos before, my art videos especially, you know I do not resonate with pink at all. But we go with what works with us, what resonates with us, and it's comfortable for us for a reason. When we're talking about crystals, the crystals pick us sometimes, but we don't need anything fancy. I mean, I have this really pretty one right here. I thought this was so pretty. The beautiful tree of life, and it has this at the bottom, and it has this at the top. I know it's hard to see on the screen. And will I find a way to use this as a crystal grid? Yes, I will. But it is also perfect to have underneath my crystal grids, but whatever. If I just, even not following the pattern, I can put this in the center, and then I can just put crystals around it using my numbers, my sacred geometry. What numbers resonate with me? What numbers are, I don't know, sort of my thing. You know, Nikola Tesla, he recognized that there was power in numbers as well, and he understood that relationship between numbers and the universe, and he knew that the entire universe was built upon the frequency and the vibration. So that's why he gave us a lot of really important ideas and tips and sort of clues to be able to understand the universe very much like he did. He was very much a genius when it came to that. Now, when I'm talking about what is your number, I'm talking about numerology. In the universe, everything has a vibration, everything has a meaning, everything has a purpose. So when we're talking about what is your number, so there's a lot of different like angel numbers. So you may have seen people, like especially online, they'll post like, oh, I saw 111 on my clock, 111. I'm going to go through what some of those actually mean. So 111 means a fresh start or starting something new. So if you're seeing that on your clock and boom, you've recognized it and you're like, oh, I'm paying attention to this. Okay, there's a fresh start coming. If you see, probably not on your clock, but somewhere else, 000, that's a fresh start. 222, serenity and unity. 333 is magnetic creativity. 444 is stabilization. 555 are major changes on the horizon. 666 is compassion, empathy, and support. 777 is self-discovery and personal growth. 888 is a connection to the spiritual universe. 999 is a chapter maybe coming to an end. So a lot of people refer to those as angel numbers. What are the angels trying to communicate with us? Whether you see those numbers on a book page and you resonate with it, maybe on the dial of your radio, or you just hear those numbers mentioned, a lot of times those are our guides, our loved ones, our angels communicating with us through sacred geometry, through angel numbers. When I'm going to use my crystals for a certain purpose, there are certain numbers that I like. And I found this great chart, and I will be posting this chart on my Instagram page, Chrisanne1234, and on my Facebook business page, Elemental Energies with Chrisanne, because I think it's a fantastic chart. I don't know if I'm able to link it. I don't know how to do all those things. Probably not on the actual YouTube video, so you're probably going to have to search it on those other places. But I'm going to go through the positive meanings. Well, there's positive and negatives. Let's go through both. So when you see the number 0, that is wholeness, inclusiveness, comprehensive. The negative is limitations, idealistic expectations. When we're working with number 1, so this is a 1. I have a 1 here. This is a 1 single solitary crystal. So this is referring to the number of crystals I am using within my grid, and this is the meaning of them. So 1 is a leadership number, bold, courageous. So depending on what crystal I'm putting here, this is a related quartz, but it's a quartz. Quartz is a generator. This is a double generator because it's related, but it's a leadership stone. Negatively, if you see a 1 on the negative, well, you know what? I'm not even going to do the negatives because we're talking about creating crystal grids, and we're creating positives. So let's not even do the negatives. I'll post it. You can read it. You can let me know what you think. But a 1 is leadership. 2. So if I'm going to do 2 of a stone, numerologically, that represents, in addition to the meaning of the crystal, the number of the stones I'm using. 2 is cooperative, sensitive, balanced, loving, patient, modest, supportive. a 3, if I'm going to use 3 stones within my grid, in addition to the meaning of the actual stone, excuse me, 3 represents optimistic, creative expression, happy, and amusing. If I am going to do 4 within my crystal grid, the number 4 is stable, grounded, calm, pragmatic, disciplined, organized, but cautious. I do tend to do a lot of 3s and 4s. If I'm going to do a grid of 5, you know what? I might switch this to another grid to make it easier for you to see. Let's see which one. This is what I'm looking for. It's over here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm going to do a 5, in addition to the meaning of the actual crystal, having the number 5 represented means freedom, enthusiasm, clever, sensual, adventurous. And if I'm going to do a number 6, in addition to the meaning of the stones, nurturing, responsible, dutiful, kind, stable, devoted, generous, intuitive. If I'm going to do a 7, analytical, mystical, introspective, prepared, and wise. If I'm going to do an 8, prosperous, strong, self-reliant, intelligent, clever, and tasteful. If I'm going to do a 9 of the same stone within my grid, compassionate, tolerant, benevolent, intuitive, humanitarian, mystical, charming, and idealistic. When I'm talking about using my number, what is your number? I always say that. What is your number? Use the stones that represent your number. This is what I am talking about. Use the amount of stones, number 1, that you have available, and number 2, that represents what resonates right with you. Maybe some days a 3 is what resonates with you, but another day you are feeling compelled to do a 4. Go with what you're compelled with. If you are compelled with that, it is for a reason. But I just wanted to give you this really kind of cute little chart that I found that sort of explains some of that. So I don't know if I've made this more complicated than it needs to be. But a crystal grid is a formation of the stones that I put together for the energy, for the vibration, for the numerology, for the deeper meaning. Do you see how I get into the meaning of the crystals, the meaning of the number that I'm using, possibly the meaning of the grid that it is placed on? I mean, it's like going down the rabbit hole with how many aspects that you can put in it. I geek out on stuff like that. I find it totally cool. I love it. That's why I have a lot of these different types of grids, because I enjoy all that sort of geekiness of all of that. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm even more lost than I was to begin with. But just know a grid is a formation that you put the stones in to generate what it is that you are manifesting. To place them on a crystal grid, depending on the pattern, is potentially using sacred geometry, but also using the number of stones that you put within that formation is incorporating even more sacred geometry. Maybe your angel numbers, maybe it's your number of one of the ones on the list that I just mentioned for a specific reason. I tend to go with 3s, 4s, and 7s. especially when I'm gridding around a body of a person. I'm a Reiki master teacher. So when I used to see people in person, I no longer do see people in person anymore, but I do create grids for people when I am doing distant Reiki on them. But when I have somebody in front of me on my Reiki table, I am placing crystals around the body using sacred geometry, using specific placements, using the meaning of the stones, using my intuition, and whatever else comes in. So I create a grid when I'm not in person for whoever it is that I'm sending distant Reiki to, and that is something energetically that is able to be felt. That's a whole other video. I know, I'm getting more and more complicated. Sorry. I'm trying to have this be simple, and I'm going down my own rabbit hole. So, yeah, this is probably going to generate more questions. I was trying to answer questions, and I'm creating more. Sorry about that. But just know, a crystal grid is to generate what it is that you want. Now, I always say in all my videos, if all you have is one stone, you can carry that one stone. I always tell you what the meanings of the stones are, and I always tell you what side to carry the stones on. The left-hand side of the body is the bring in energy. The right-hand side of the body lets the energy out. Left-hand pocket will bring in financial abundance if you're going to carry this natural citrine. When you are sitting at your desk at work, the left-hand side, when you stick your left arm out, that's the left-hand side of your desk. You have to be sitting at your desk in order to fully know what direction is what, okay? Same thing when you're in bed. When you are laying on your back in bed, you stick out your left arm, that's the left-hand side of the bed. I don't care if somebody else is in the bed. I don't care how big the bed is. I don't care. That is the left-hand side of the bed, period. So if you need to put something on a nightstand and you're sleeping on the right-hand side of the bed, if your partner doesn't want something on their nightstand, put it under the bed. Then it won't bother anybody. Or put it behind the headboard. Tape it to the headboard. Put it behind or on the footboard. Or if you have like a little bench at the end of your bed, put it there. It doesn't matter. If you are on the right-hand side of the bed and you still need to know what the left-hand side of the bed is, the left-hand side doesn't change. It is still the left-hand side of the bed. Once you are on your back in bed, that's the left-hand side. Vice versa, the same thing for the right-hand side. But the left is bringing the energy in, the right is letting the energy out. So there, it's that. I hope that explains it. So if you can't create a grid, you can simply carry the stones that I talk about in my videos, or place one or two on your nightside table or under your bed or at your desk. This natural citrine is a really good one for your desk, frankly. So, oh my goodness, I hope that explains what I was trying to explain. I hope. If not, let me know. I'll do another video. Bring you down a different rabbit hole. I know, I get so in my head about this because I kind of geek out about it. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope I've helped. This is Chris Ann. Take care. Be free.